we're good. Satish, please go ahead.
Okay.
So Scott, just for a background, Satish is showing Navisworks with Revit, and it's that Dark Knight, the MEP that's integrated with the Revit model that you got, the latest Revit, which has got the shop drawing. And so now he's integrated all the mechanical, electrical, plumbing in that. So yeah, go ahead. This is Navisworks, right, Satish?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Sanjay, before that, I have some doubts
Okay.
in the structural lattice to fire.
Scott's
In this,
your man.
yeah,
Scott's your man.
yeah, okay. This guys. Okay. In the ceiling area, we have additional I-beams. So ignore this one. See this one.
Can you zoom more in? We're not able to see it properly. Can you zoom in more?
Yeah. This is main I-beams.
Your voice is
But in the
breaking, Satish. We're not able to hear. I don't know, Scott. Are you getting the same?
I can hear.
yeah, okay. Yeah. In the ceiling area, we have additional structural I-beams shown
We
in this
we
lattice.
cannot see the screen. Yeah, okay, now we can see it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. In this area, we have additional structural I-beams shown. So can I hide in this area? Because this is the ceiling area. I don't know this.
Scott, what are your thoughts? I think the ask here, what Satish is saying that maybe the MEP is sort of clashing at that structural side of it. So what are you asking? Do
Yeah.
you want the ceiling to go higher or lower? What are you asking?
I am asking about this. No,
So
this,
can you zoom out? Sorry, it's Satif.
Yeah.
yeah.
Satif, can you zoom out a little bit and just show me the whole framing, and then maybe just kind of point to the areas that you see a clash detection? Because when I was looking at the framing, Jay, area looking at is to me like a lot of extra work on how it's framed. And we could probably take a peek at that. I'm confused why it was that way. And maybe I'll learn more why it's that way as we go on.
See everywhere like that.
Perfect.
Additional some structural I-beams shown in the ceiling area.
And so I had the same question as Satif, is what he's outlined there in red right now, that bottom suspended ceiling.
This is the bottom ceiling area.
Yeah. Now,
I don't know why I like this.
I don't either. When I was looking at that, Sanjay, to me, the joists above where you just highlighted, that seems like either those could be larger or we can do some kind of a different suspended ceiling in there, almost, I don't want to say a T-bar, but something like that. So it's not rigid.
I think this one is ceiling support, right?
It's just ceiling support, but what I don't understand is why, when I was just looking at the structure itself, and I only studied it a little bit, not like you guys.
Yes. So which means the MEP stuffs we can cross these items. There is no issue, right?
There's no issue on the top beams, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Now, here is one thing though that I was wondering is, with those top beams, is there a reason why we have that suspended ceiling down below? Is it so you can run your MEP through there?
Yes.
Is that what that was the reasoning for it?
Yeah, I can kind of chime in there, Scott. Yes, that was the reasoning, that we can run through the ceiling, all the MEP from the ceiling, because remember, we wanted to have everything in the wall. So this whole exercises, everything integrated inside the wall, so we can ship it like a wall, and that's why everything was done either in the ceiling or else in the exterior walls, basically.
Got it. I'll have to wrap my mind a little bit around there. So I can see them clashing quite a bit, huh? With that bottom ceiling.
So this is also the
you're
ceiling.
okay.
This is also a ceiling. If you can you zoom out, Satish? Show the whole house first. Let's start with the entire house completely. Don't just go into a bedroom, so everybody understands the context. Can you come out completely and add all the walls also? Yeah, completely. Just show the whole dark night, basically. Just show the whole dark night. And let's do one by one. Like, let's start with the left bedroom, if you will. And no, go completely out. Go to the house. And is this the whole? And show the MEP. Can you show the MEP like that from a transparency now, since you've shown the house here? Okay. So this is the bottom floor here, Scott. How can you just show only the wet walls? Go only to the wet walls at the back, because that's where a majority of our MEP is there, right? So yeah, just expand these wet walls only. I want to only see the far end wet walls completely. Okay, so that's your sewer, Scott. As we were talking about how the floor should have the sewer, there you have it. And this is a very, very critical view for us, Scott, when we're shipping, whether we're shipping a panelized or the floor. This is what the floor joist will look like. This will be our like golden biscuit, if you will, that for the bathroom mod, your wet wall, your sewer system will be at the bottom below. And I'd like you to comment from a builder perspective. What are your thoughts here?
So if he rotates it to, can you do a section view right where that toilet is?
Only in this toilet area?
Yeah, just kind of do a section the other way.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. There you go. And now can you change the view when you cut that one section? Kind of come around the left side. There you go. I want to see how far. I want to see how far that plumbing drops below the joists. Okay, that's a good view right there. So when you're looking at this, Sanjay, so what I was talking about yesterday is when you ship the flooring, you're gonna have some kind of subfloor above those on those joists.
Yep.
And then from there, your flooring, it's a subfloor, and then your flooring's gonna stick to that. Yep. So what he's got shown in there, and very nice work on your plumbing. This tree, this is what we'll call like a tree. This tree is built up in the shop, just like what we talked about.
Yes.
And then it won't be part of the floor system, but it'll be the majority of that tree will be already built. And there's certain areas that there's fixed points, and then there's certain areas that we'll just have to attach to later and mod out in the field. But certainly all this is all fixed joints.
So
that he's doing.
So what he's showing here, Scott, I wanted you to visually almost immerse and see how we execute and what's the importance of this whole MEP shop drawing to the specificity where each and every hole, plug, and all that stuff is there. So this is about plumbing. Now, what I'd like Satish to do is really highlight the electrical part out here. And what are the different colors? Because what I understand Satish has done is for every kind of trade, there's a different color red hot water, plumbing, and all that stuff. So as you just showed, Satish, fantastic work here. But let's highlight on this bedroom or the bathroom itself, the electrical portion. How does that sort of fit in here, basically?
Can hang on, Sanjay. Can we come to that in a second? I was going to ask a couple more plumbing questions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's Satish.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now, can you highlight just that plumbing tree right now and break it into parts for a material list? Is that easy to do, or has it already been done?
Yeah, I will make a different color for this.
Confirmation.
This looks really sharp. Now, what I'm also kind of thinking about too is without, is it possible to take that just in the plumbing portion of it and now break it up into a parts list so I can have a guy go, hey, I need 20 elbows, 90 degrees, 3-inch. I need, 3-inch pieces. I have two 24-inch pieces. I have one, 13.5-inch piece.
Which means you need quantity.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, kind of like bill of material, right, Scott?
Yes, kind of like a bill of material, but then also the guys will kind of need to know like a top view down, and he's kind of got that. But when they build this tree, they're going to build this on a table so they need to make sure that their angle long, their 45s are correct. You see that P-trap, how it's coming down at that angle?
Yeah,
we need to know what angle that is. Does that make sense?
You mean the length of this cut length, everything you need.
Exactly. Right? So that way we can have a guy in the shop go, okay, we have a quantity of this many 3-inch pieces of pipe that we need cut, and then you have a guy just cut.
Yeah.
And then you'll have an assembly guy that's taking,
Actually, right now we are not prepared like that.
That's okay. But how hard is that to do that for you?
That we can make, no problem, but that is an additional task.
Perfect. It's Sanjay, that task that we're talking about.
Yeah.
These are beautiful drawings, but again, without measurements and all that.
Already
without measurements of all the parts.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That a lot of work went into. Really, the guys will have to refigure everything back out again.
But isn't that abbreviation already done, Satish, from your side? Like different parts are there, the legend is there, but maybe Scott's asking, and I understand it's going to be an additional service. The point here, what we're discussing here, Satish, you have to understand that we'll pay for the services. Don't worry about it. This is not about whether you can charge us or not. You can charge us. But what Scott's saying is that we're actually getting you prepared as our projects come. What is our expectation deliverables? One is like you've done the shop drawing. Another one is this punch list. Call it bill of material with detail, angling and things of that. and it sounds to me, Scott, maybe if I might speak, and Satish, keep me honest here. They've got like 200 engineers, so what you're asking is not out of the blue or anything. It can certainly be done. It just might be a little bit extra cost or service, which is perfectly fine, because whatever can reduce the burden of the folks on site in the factory, we want to be able to accomplish that, right, Scott?
Correct.
Yes,
Um,
Scott.
sorry,
See
I
this
can
one?
see, I see exactly on the measurements, but here's
Yeah.
where I was
Like that.
kind of hoping for. In reality, though, what you measured that 1 foot 3 5/8, which is perfect. That person then could add a 1/2 inch to an inch on that measurement, and that's the piece he's going to cut, because it's got a flange that slips into there.
Yeah.
So really, when you slip that 1 foot 3 5/8 part into there, really, what is that part measurement? Does that make sense? Because there's a glue joint, and it's going to slip in there a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch on either side. So the part cut, if I'm making any sense, is going to be 1.5 inches stronger, could be 1.5 inches stronger than 1 foot 3 5/8. Am I making myself understand? Do you see what I'm getting at?
But this model we are preparing only.
So in reality, that let's just talk about that 1 foot 3 5/8 right there.
Yeah.
That's perfect for it. But on the parts list, if you were to label that little piece of pipe there, if my guy actually cut that 1 foot 3 5/8, it would end up short, because it's a flange that glues and slides in. That you see that to the left there, the 1 foot 3 5/8. That's a 90 degree.
Yes, Scott, but this is not a fabrication part. This all generic model.
Yeah, so let me chime in here, if I can bridge this gap here. Scott, what you're asking for, they're more of engineers that based on, that's what I said. See, when you design the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, they're going to like use this computer program to the T to be able to shop draw it so you can visually see it. So that's more on the generic model side. But what you're also asking is very interesting, is like bill of material. They can create maybe a punch list. Your team, Satish, you can create a punch list and then go through a second review of the punch list itself.
Yeah, okay.
So these are very, very nice drawings. And I mean, this is great. There's no doubt about it.
Iteration based.
For a guy out in the field, what would be more important is just the centers of where he's punching up through and a snapshot of that. But when I looked at all that work that you've done, I know that you're saying that's generic, but it doesn't look very generic. That's why I was assuming that all the parts were already cut and the flanges were correct.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at that P-trap.
Sorry, Scott. Maybe, Satish, you should get somebody more senior in the company involved in this discussion. Scott, maybe we can get some, and this recording is awesome, right? Satish, I can share the recording and have your team members review what Scott is saying, because Scott's super experienced. He understands what he's asking for. And if you were to share this video with the team members, they might be able to come back with something. But Scott, please go ahead. Your inputs are very valuable.
So Satish, this is incredible work. Don't get me. I'm just saying looks very, very awesome, and I can't wait to work with you guys on other projects. You guys got me pumped. But with this level of detail, in my mind, I'm expecting a parts list. So when you touch, you know where that P-trap is right there that you just touched?
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
Right to the right of that. Touch that pipe right to the right of that.
This
right
one.
there. So I know that it's a generic parts, right? And we could figure out like what those flanges are. So what I'm kind of getting at is that's a 2-inch pipe just by looking at it. I would imagine it's a 2, or is it 1.5 inches? But when I'm looking at this, what would be really helpful is when we order the material, we're going to add all those parts list together. If it was in some kind of an Excel spreadsheet that shows a total quantity, a total length of all the 2-inch pipe, all the 3-inch pipe that we need. So there's different aspects, and tell me if I'm boring you with this, but when we go to order it, maybe we have 40 feet of 3-inch pipe and we have 20 feet of, 2-inch pipe, and we have 5 feet of 1.5-inch pipe. I'm just guessing. Well,
Yeah.
that way we order for each unit the total lengths. Then from there it goes to the shop. And then from there, what I'd like to see is a breakdown of the cut list of how much, what are we cutting the 2-inch pipe, the 3-inch pipe, the 1.5-inch pipe to, and taking into account, like when that piece that you highlighted is actually longer because it has flanges that it's going to glue into the left side and then the right side, taking into account that flange and a little bit of air, you know what I mean? Because when we assemble this in a shop somewhere, as you know, being an 1/8 inch off here and another 1/8 inch off over here, all of a sudden we're a quarter off. Now we're a 1/2 inch off. All that stuff kind of comes into play. So along with your drawings, can you go to a 2D
Yeah.
floor plan of that area?
Yeah, this area.
So you got all these measurements this is just incredible work. But really what I would like to see is, let's talk right where that FD is coming up right there. You got the flow, you got the P trap.
Yeah, this is the pit.
Yep. So a center line of that coming off of a wall or an outer line would be like perfect. And I see that you got a measurement. If you scroll your screen down a little bit, I see that there's a measure to the center line. But really, when we're building the floor, we want to make sure that we drill a hole for that to come up through. And if you could give us a cheat, what I'm kind of getting at is almost another view that just shows all the penetrations. Even though you have it here, a less complex view that just shows the penetrations and the size of the penetrations. So like where the toilets are and the vents, you could say, hey, we need a 3.5-inch hole right here where the toilet is come popping up through both ways. And I see where you're measuring. We could probably do it in an Excel spreadsheet that 1 3/8 of an inch. You don't want to cut your pipe to that 1 3/8 of an inch. We need to figure out what the flanges are, and then add a measurement. Now we could do that in an Excel spreadsheet and all that kind of stuff, but your drawings are so sophisticated, I kind of assume that it's already there.
Yeah, in this area, how to calculate that one? This dimension.
Yep.
How to calculate the flange area? This is the flange area, right?
Yep.
So we need to add any extra?
We'll need to figure out what that extra is, and I don't know what that extra is.
Yeah, actually right now is 1 3/8 inch.
Right. But we don't want to cut it to that. We need to add the flange to it. And because it glues inside of it.
In this area, only flanges is coming, right?
Correct. So in this, the one that you put, the 1 3/8, it's actually gonna be, and I'm guessing on these measurements, it's gonna be a 1/2 inch on one side and a 1/2 inch on the other side, or it could be 3/4. I don't know what the flange, how far is that 1 3/8 pipe gonna embed into that Y?
So one sec. Let's pause. This is really exciting conversation, Scott. I must say, what my mind is going is that to bridge the gap. So say this is 1 3/8 inch, and in your practical experience, you feel that it should be 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there. Let's call this a component or a flange, if you will, whatever you call that part, right? Can we create some sort of a generic table that a flange should be 1/2 and 1/2 added on top of it? So that way these guys already have those directives and they're adding it into the drawing itself, because we've given them that delta variance for a flange, and then maybe there might be a longer pipe. You can give them the deltas, and they can incorporate that into their drawing and measurements.
Correct. So I don't know what that delta is, but
Yes, yes, Scott.
I just
I
want to
have
make
one.
sure, Sanjay, do you understand it's like a male and female part?
Yeah.
So let's go to that 1'4". Can you zoom in on that 1'4" 3/8 real quick? Slider over or that one. That one's fine too.
Can
So
you
that
not?
one
Can you
foot
not show
three-
this in Navisworks? Satish. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
So this is a really good view that he's in right now. So the 1'4" 3/8. On the left-hand side of that, there's a female fitting, and a right-hand side, there's a female fitting. So that
Yes.
1'4", it's going to slide in there. Do you understand that, right,
Yeah.
Sanjay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, Scott. But the problem is, I don't know. This T length is 10 feet 5 by it. I don't know. Is this correct or not?
so, and that's what we're going to have to do is when we do a bill of material. So we could keep this. Your drawings are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not like, I'm excited to work with you on other projects.
Okay.
But
I'm
it's,
I'm following as per this drawing for this T length, everything. I'm following like that.
so are you getting these parts off of, are these just generic parts? Are you getting off of what standards are you grabbing these parts from?
It's generic parts.
Okay. So I would imagine that 10 foot or 10 inch and 5/8 is probably correct on the T's or the Y there. But we definitely need to double check that, because what we're going to do is build this whole plumbing tree. Basically, we're not going to build it and cut it like a traditional person would. So what I would like to see is if you zoom out of this drawing a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have your walls all kind of
Yes.
grayed out. I like that. I love this view. Don't change this view. But for the guys out in the field, I would like to see penetration measurements from a wall, an easy reference that references the architectural drawings to the center line of the toilets. Any penetrations that are coming through the floor, almost like pick maybe a bubble, a grid. I see a grid bubble there. Maybe a grid line, and pull all your measurements left and right, and both directions. So a person can easily place. Am I making myself clear where those penetrations are coming up through? You have all the measurements, everything's correct. It's just a little more detailing, and it doesn't have to be so complex. You got all this is a great view, but if we had one that just showed where all the penetrations are coming up through the floor.
Okay.
So
And that'll help the guys
yeah.
out in the field. And then, sorry, my dog's going crazy here. Then we'll be able to break it down per the flooring section. And then when we build that floor, then we can later we can start to reference those dimensions off of the floor that you know what I mean, where it's coming up through the floor.
Yes, good. Some of the pipe is conflict with the structural.
Yep.
So
yep.
Is that an issue?
No, because we'll be able to penetrate when we build that wall. We'll be able to actually punch a hole right in there for that. Like, you have this so detailed, we'll be able to punch all the bottom plate. We'll be able to punch those holes right in there. That's where I was saying it's pretty critical to have all your penetrations that are coming up kind of just visualized on a floor plan for now, and then we'll modify and get back with you on as we're building that wall. You know what I mean? As we're coming up through, what's happening
So,
there.
so Scott,
Like
are
if you
you
go,
seeing like how he's already getting the objects that are integrating with all the punch holes and the stubs, how they're sort of synchronizing with each other that he just showed right now visually?
yep, yep. No, this is really good stuff. But how do we use this good stuff with guys out in the shop and in the field? So he's so sophisticated, and I run into this problem a lot too. We're so sophisticated, the guys aren't going to take any time to look at our work.
Yeah.
They're because a plumber knows, like in traditional, plumbers, you wouldn't need to do this much work, right? But in our case, we want to do this work because we want to pre-do the trees. And he's already done all the thinking, like exactly where everything goes. That's why I think there's just a little more steps that we need to do to kind of figure out how we get all these measurements in more of a how can we take this nice sophisticated drawing and make it almost a dumbed down version? You know what
Scott,
I mean? But
Scott, this correction I take like that. Just avoid this structure crossing. Is there any issues?
it would be easier if you just penetrate. It's no issue, but it would be actually easier if you penetrated
Because
through the bottom plate, just like you did over there.
if I go down,
Yes,
this
just
one,
come up through the
we
plate.
need,
Like,
yeah, we need to cross this structure.
yes, if you can come through that structure, it's actually easier.
Okay, I can update. No problem.
Because what I was getting at is, depending on the angle that you're coming through that, if we decide to put Corian on the walls or whatever, that's it's an oval cut. You know what I mean? Once you get it a couple times, you'll figure it out. But
So that's a good call out here, Satish. And again, I like just
Yeah.
like how you've done MEP. Again, there might be
Mm.
other disciplines in your company that needs to get involved. That how will it look like for another layer if we put like a shop drawing, if we put another insulation, then we're putting a cladding. What is that thickness that has to be there in the similar kind of three-dimensional? We can see
Mm.
any clashes, or is it going to be too thick or too thin, the insulation? How does that intertwine with the MEP and the structural? Would you need to get other people involved in that when we're going to add layer of insulation and cladding here? Satish?
Actually, some of the area we have clash with the structure. Actually, right now there is no issue from this crossing. Is there any issue for this crossing, Scott?
no,
So
no,
this,
nope.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Sanjay, what we'd end up doing too is all those areas that he's coming up through
yeah. Upper area
is
also we are for
we'll
following
punch
like
out
that.
a hole that's larger than what he's calling for, so you got a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
Now, Satif, go over where the tub is. I
Over
want to
here,
see that. I want to see that angle coming up through that bottom plate.
bottom side.
Over where the tub shower is, right there, right to your left of your screen. Go right where go up from the top view where the tub is. Whoop, down. Sorry. Keep going down a little bit more. Now, yeah, there you go. And go to where the shower valves are in the tub. Right there. Stop there, and then kind of zoom to that left corner. Top corner.
To the tub. Right. No, the tub. There
There
you
you
go.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now spin your view all the way around. We'll get it. So the drain line, the vent there on the toilet, on the tub shower, you see how you're
Yeah.
coming through on an angle there?
no, I need to update that one.
Okay. So
This is the
kind of think
straight.
of this, if you can get away with it. Sometimes you can't, but if you can, like this one's a good one to talk about. That we would actually clip the whole corner of that wall out. And you're looking at the foundation area going, okay, that's going to be, you know, foundation. But if you can come up straight up through.
Yeah, okay,
That's
1 minute. I will show you.
there you go. So, and you're trying to fight. I see what you're doing. You're trying to fight that piece of metal right there. But actually, in actuality, the tub has a void right there, so you can actually come straight up right there.
Center this.
So, as Satish is trying to do this, Scott, just my thought process here, um, literally, if somebody can wear a hard hat or
Say,
Oculus and go
say
like
this.
that and be able to do it.
Now pull it closer now to the tub. The whole thing, slide that whole thing closer to the tub.
Sorry.
Take that blue pipe that you just made, the pink pipe blue, and slide that closer to the tub, because in actuality there's a void.
Okay. But the problem is.
No, you're okay.
Oh,
So you did good by dodging your shower valves and stuff like that. But if you can grab that thing and just slide it just a little bit to the
so
top.
this blue pipe need to move to the top.
Yeah, because it can go closer to the tub than what you have. I know you're getting it in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
I
you
can
can,
understand.
then in the wall itself, you can then put a little 22-degree angle in there and then reconnect it again. What I was trying to get is anything coming up through the floor, if you can get away with it, try to keep it perpendicular to the surface that you're coming through. Because when we drill it, we don't have to worry about doing 2 or 3 drills to get it an oval angle. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
And in reality too, the tub is going to have an overflow. And these are things that we'll kind of have to work out too as you get that tub will have an overflow. And normally that guy gets slid all the way back close to the tub. That plumbing thing. It'll slide and almost touch the tub right in the center of the tub.
Yes.
And then they put
This is.
it's below the valves. And it'll be right, it's the tub overflow that connects to that.
Okay.
So if I may ask a question, Satish, before you do more technical updates, my mind is racing towards Scott, our tech support, when let's say exactly what Satish is doing, but if somebody wore an Oculus glass, how can they go inside? And how we're using Archeo, how can we use the similar thing of sectional pulling it up in there, up and down? Because Archeo doesn't do this sort of MEP shop drawing pulling up and down. Can we take Navisworks and import this in Archeo and be able to expand what Satish is doing in that environment?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
What would that file format be, Satish, that you can give us?
So really, like if we had all the wiring and all the framing put together, that is really helpful. Like no skins on the walls or any of that.
He can show
And
that. He can show that right now. Can you just show
yeah,
the
and then
structural?
ghost all the
Yeah. Can you
and
show
kind
that?
of ghost all the plumbing, so they're kind of ghosted images
Yeah.
on the fixtures themselves.
Yeah. Can you show that view to Scott, please, Satish? Just the structural, no walls and all that stuff. Just the mechanical, electrical, plumbing only with the structure. Can you show that view, full view?
Navisware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Only the MEP. Remove all the walls and everything else. Just mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and structure. Yeah, you could keep the windows maybe just to keep the context.
Yeah, this is the framing plan.
You see that, Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that genius frickin' thing?
No, it's pretty nice, super nice. One thing I would recommend is we're gonna have to start getting him real models of what the tub shower is gonna be, what the toilets are gonna be. He's going to this much work, you know what I mean? He needs the real stuff.
Yeah.
Like what product that you're actually going to put into there.
Yeah. So see, that's all
Same with the
electrical on
can
top.
lights.
Yeah, that's lights.
Yep. With the can lights, same
This
with
is the
that.
light.
Yep. Now, this is something, Sanjay, that we need to kind of chat about. That suspended ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea, but a lot more work. Now, is there another way that we can do that suspended ceiling? And the suspended ceiling, this has nothing to do with mechanical, but can you zoom back out, Satif?
Sorry?
And can you zoom out just a little bit and then move it to the side wall?
Side
This
wall.
is where I was. Move it, yeah, just like that. Somewhere. And now zoom in on that corner. There. Okay. Now, can you touch that suspended ceiling, that lower floor joist for us, that whole group there? Okay. Now, see the framing there, Sanjay? See the wall framing?
Yep.
Now, you see that the way they've done it is they have the wall framing coming right to there. And I think it's because you're going to pre-panelize this, right?
Yes.
And then this other wall is going to go on top of that. And then your floor joists are going to go on top of that.
Yes.
I think that needs to be thought out maybe a little bit better.
So
that could be a construction.
just stay there at the panelization. You see how the panels are there, but the superstructure, Scott, I want you to also maybe the superstructure is not shown here. It is shown because this particular model has got the subframe also, and then panelization integrated inside that. So it's a great example to follow for similar also what we're doing right now.
Right. But this way of framing, you've made it really complex, or they've made it really complex. And there's an easier method is what I'm getting at. I know that there's an easier method.
And they'll lean on your inputs for that because the StruxOff team would be separate that will coordinate with this MEP team. But at least this gives you a context of how the superstructure, framing, and MEP all come together here, basically.
Yep. Now, I think it's really critical on the MEP side that they have all the plumbing fixtures. Let's just talk plumbing right now. All the brand names that you're going to pick and all the models, they need to have that, because he's going to all this work. And when you get different toilets and you get different showers, you get different, some of these shower bases have offset, drain lines. So we really need to, our team really needs to pick the appliances, get him the specs on the appliances, so they're doing this work once. You know what I mean? Because it's super detailed what they're doing.
And that's what we did with Simmer, right? All the appliances and things like that, we'll give it to these guys because there is a wall mounted, the way plumbing is done. And I had Satish updated based on the wall mounted toilets.
Yep. And so from there, then let's move into the electrical. And I see your electrical. Let's talk about plumbing. Let me go back to plumbing. So we give them the right appliances and stuff, and then we're going to get these nice drawings coming back. But also, I'd like it to be a little more sophisticated in our parts list. So you and I can just pick up the phone and order. You know, when we're ordering, we're going to be ordering, you know, bulk, right? Bulk items, 20 feet long or whatever. But when it goes to the guys out in the field, or the guys in the warehouse, we want them to be able to cut. We'll have a bulk order, and then we'll have a cut list for, you know, there'll be two guys, one guy cutting all this stuff up. And it goes the same for electrical. When we start cutting wires, we start cutting conduit, we start doing all this. It would be nice it's going to be nice to know, like, all right, are we using flex? How are we, you know, is like, I see the green right now on the conduit coming up.
Yeah.
But we need to decide how that flex is going to be. Is it going to be more like we call it like a Smurf pipe, like a plastic pipe that kind of moves around?
Yep. PVC.
So we kind of need to know, like, how are we going to get those corners to bend? You know what I mean? Because the wall's going to come. Is there going to be a piece of flex that goes in between conduit to conduit? You know, these are our things that we need to kind of work out, but you're helping us work these out. And now I see all your manifold, your electrical. Do we have an electrical box that we've picked yet, or is it generic?
Yes. Otherwise, we can provide one junction box here.
Yep.
And we can avoid this, all the bends. If we provide one junction box here, we can avoid these bends.
And so when you're looking at this, kind of think of this, Sanjay. So this is really, really nice work. But to get that one bend, you see that little kick bend, and then it kind of comes down. It's right to the bottom of where he's working right now. To actually do that is really difficult, you know, to do. Most of these guys are measuring in the field. So we need to figure out if we're going to use what we're using. Are we using PVC? Are we using flex? What are we using for that? And for the water lines, what are you proposing for the water, hot and cold? PEX piping?
Yeah, I was thinking PEX, but you know, would PEX be allowed if we're using that metal wall frames, basically? How would that sort of work from like code perspective? Is that because you have to also think we're selling that golden biscuit, which is our wall, that's got the MEP integrated inside it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's
So
a question we
PEX
can
should
get
work
answered.
because they have gaskets.
Yeah.
They have gaskets where things are going.
And we can have Ryan from the Intertech team have when we're designing this way of conversation. This would be a great for having Derek and the other guys that are going to be doing the code of giving us that blessing, basically.
Yep. I think we have a lot of work to kind of, I mean, if we start to isolate, like for one, the plumbing is just incredible, but he's going to kind of generic toilets and a cabinet, you know, just different things where we really need to pick all the brand names that we're going and supply them with the models and the elevations, like, and he'll pull that from the architectural drawings.
Yeah.
just so when he's doing his work, it's all perfect. When we look at the electrical, everything looks correct when I'm looking at it, but there's more to it than, depending on what type of conduit we use. What is that little pull box like there? What is it? What's the connection piece? You know what I mean? From box to box.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a little Carter ring set, that kind of crimps it. But again, we want to see a full material list of how many, I'm just saying, if it's PVC, how many male connections do we have? How many couplers do we have? How many 22-degree angles do we have? How many 90s do we have? And so we don't have to come back through and do all that.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're so sophisticated, it seems like it should be able to be done pretty easily.
Yeah, because he runs a clash detection on the software itself. It tells you all the clashes and stuff like that. Right now, my understanding is you've done more of a structural clash detection, but would you
Yeah.
also be able to run clash detections from other perspective for wires and things of that, Satish?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and the clash stuff too is going to be pretty cool, but it's almost more as we get the design dialed in a little bit. Like, this looks really, really sharp, but to be 100% correct is you need to figure out what your light's going to be. You know what I mean? What box are you using? Are you using a deeper box? Or are you using for electrical? But this plumbing is just awesome.
So I think, Scott, again, I'm wearing my software hat, as we used to execute $20 million projects all around the world. If we isolate or standardize our thought process, can you zoom in on one mod? And I'm going to speak in the context of mods and wall panels because they become more focus and object. Can you zoom in on mod A, which is a left-hand side building? Zoom out. So
Sanjay,
yeah.
yeah, Sanjay, before that, last week I sent one mail to drop down the ceiling at least 4 inch because the conflict with the mechanical.
Yeah. So Scott might be able to answer that, but right now, let's not resolve this problem here. We want to continue this conversation so that, Satish, we've got another project also coming in. That's why we're having this discussion. But go
Yeah.
to the mod A. Go back to the house. Go back to the house in Navisworks.
Yeah. Okay.
So Scott, what he was asking was for Dark Knight. I wanted to table that, but at least get our thought process together of how we can kind of move forward with this. So you've got mod A, right? Hold on. Go up again, please. So this is mod A. Okay, this is perfect. This is the complete left mod, right? Okay, I love it. So now you've isolated the whole house. Now we're talking mod A, right? Now remove these windows. Okay, perfect. Bang, right there. Wait, right there. So now you've got this shear wall, if you will, the shear wall, which is the back end shear wall. What are some of the nuances in the shear wall from a MEP perspective? You can remove the staircase also because we want to focus on the wall now. Remove the staircase out and just focus only on the wall, the wet wall there, basically. The right hand, yeah, there you go, perfect. Okay, so now where's the MEP? Where's the mechanical, electrical, plumbing in it? If you still need to have the staircase to show the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, so be it. But I want only that MEP. I want to see all the MEP on this wall here. Okay, let's look at this wall. Okay. So from this perspective, this is our 10-inch wall, our standardization. Think about a bathroom mod, if you will, right? This is the heart of how are we
Yeah.
designing, how are we cutting, what is that punch list for the shear wall from a bathroom perspective. If we master that first, and we nail it from left, right, and center from an MEP perspective, bang. And that's why we will give people options of adding a bedroom and a bath, or a single bedroom and a bath, based on our component or mod, if you will. We're not giving them options that the bathroom is going to change, or where everything will go. That's where we standardize our golden biscuit, if you will, and have conversations of nailing it from all the intricacies. I think we'll do really good. Once we've nailed that bathroom wall, then we go to another wall. That's how we should really think and create bill of material associated with those components. What are your thoughts in that thinking thought process here, Scott?
I agree with you on that.
And this wall.
So
Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
I'm just pausing because there's so much work that is gone on. You know what I mean? That I mean, it's just it's awesome, right? We really need to get them the right stuff. I know I keep harping on that, but the right stuff to put everything in. Because he's going to have to come remodification everything again. Like when the real tub goes in. Am I making any sense?
Yeah. No, I am 100% on board with your thinking from the real stuff. But if you talk about the Simmers project, right? Let's say we weren't building a home and we were doing this office thing, the shed. Let's dumb down our thinking that we're just selling sheds right now with a bathroom kind of thing, right? How do we give him the standardized wall, everything that he needs to be able to represent that? Not only he needs, because my mind space where it's going is that this wall, when this is already done with the right products and stuff like that, I want somebody on the field or in the manufacturing unit. You might be traveling somewhere wearing a Oculus and saying, this is the inch, this is how you need to do. So it's like literally you can get a college graduate to be able to literally say, this is that pipe and this is what we need to do. Go up, go down, that sort of a
So
stuff.
with that, I'm pausing in thought because I'm thinking it's super complex kind of a question. So when we're panelizing, when we have exterior and interior panelization already done, to drop down the plumbing, so we're gonna have to figure out how to support that. Just even the vent pipes, we're gonna need to know how to support that vent pipe, and then poke through the bottom plate, and then poke through the floor. You see what I'm getting at?
Yes.
And then that connection, then the connection. So we have a little bit of thinking to do and working back and forth with Satish on. Right now, he's coming up through the floor as like a typical frame, right? Like with the siding, the exterior siding may be on, but the interior isn't. He's got it drawn perfect that way. But if the interior siding is on and the exterior siding is on, he doesn't have it drawn perfect. You know what I mean? So it'll be it'll kind of is different application. So we're going to need to kind of explore that best option. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to break that thought, what you just described here, Scott, what have we thought in terms of panelization and superstructure? So how is a panel and superstructure kind of coming together? Forget about the MEP. He can remove the MEP and can you remove the whole MEP and only keep the structural frames and the wall panel? Remove everything else here. All the MEP, let that MEP disappear, and
that's okay. I can avoid the MEP in my mind.
Yeah, but still, it becomes more objective if you can remove all the MEPs and just keep the structure. Can you do that, Satish?
Yeah.
This is almost working with Archeo, right, Scott? Like us understanding of how to zone in and have conversation focus on that, right? So and you can remove all the yeah, okay, so there you have it. So you've got the wall panels and you have that structure. You see that on the far end, that box, that's the heavy steel structure tube, if you will, um, of how it would kind of come and work with each other, basically.
Correct. But so when you say cube, can you spin that around a little bit? Like go to that where that window wall is. There you go. And then keep spinning. Okay. So when you say the structural side, see where he touched that red, you know what I mean? And he's kind of coming on the exterior walls or something.
Yeah.
Right now it's just drawn as basically a panelized wall. It's not what we talked about yesterday. You know what I mean? On the superstructure and then the panelization.
So the drawing
these are
can
just
we can take care of that. You've got a very valid point. We can take care of that and have our other team that is doing the structs off that can put the superstructure
yes,
and the
yes.
panel, basically.
Yep. So I really think on the mechanical side of things, we really need to supply them with all the electrical fixtures that we're going to be picking. It's just moving forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On a different project, even all the appliances, because he's putting such a level of detail in here that we want to make his steps count. And I really think too, we need to explore on the Dark Knight that bottom ceiling deal a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
Scott, see this. See
I
this
see
one.
where you're running the vent pipes. I
Yeah.
had a question. Where
Yeah,
are
we
you
need to
running them? Because we got that deck up above.
because there is a conflict with the structural.
Yep. And
So see,
how many vents can you have? I don't know this off the top of my head.
actually here is the duct.
Okay. So can you, while you're looking at this, I had a question for this. Can you go expand all the framing again, the whole house and all the MEP too? I want to go where the hood is. The hood above the stove.
If we go up, there is a conflict with the structure.
Yep.
So can you drop down the ceiling height at least to 4 inch?
Just in the bathroom area.
Yes.
So
if you
that's
drop,
gonna go
yeah,
back to
See,
Sanjay. If
already I sent mail. See, from finito
So-
floor level to actual ceiling height is 8 feet. If we move down at least 4 inch, it will come 7 feet 8 inch the bottom of ceiling.
So it seems like we could, but I want to say the answer is no, because it's a panelized thing that we're doing. It's like these are all pre-built. If it was built out in the field,
Mhm.
you see what I'm getting at, Sanjay?
yeah. I get it totally, 100%.
So can we zoom back out? Because we're going to answer this question here in a minute.
Okay.
Can you expand that whole framing to where I want to see all the framing and I want to see if it's possible. And then let's go to the kitchen area, right where that hood is coming, where the hood above the stove is. All right. How did you vent that out? Because when I looked at the way the framing is, it's a pain in the butt. So go ahead where we can see that the floor joists.
Floor joists.
The second story floor joists. Or no, sorry, go up to the second floor joist. Keep going, keep
Yeah.
going. Okay, right there.
That's
So,
freaking crazy, man.
so yeah, keep going just a little more. Little more. We're almost there. Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Now, see that vent where the hood is? That
Mhm.
needs the vent to the outside. And the way these floor joists are running, they're running the wrong way. And that's where I'm wondering is if we can move. So we got electrical going over that little box where he's at. There's a 4-inch vent that's actually going to come up and go out the side of the building right there. And the joists are running wrong for that. And so I had that question right off the get-go is like, we need to have 4-inch clear space through that. If we were to run the joists in one little section the other way, then we could use the joist cavity to get that out of there.
So this is all. See, nothing is like written in stone here, Scott. We are writing history as we speak. I wanted Satish and you and to show you the amount of groundwork, back end work that we've been doing, so you get a taste of it. And this kind of a conversation was much needed for someone like you to come in and say, shift this or shift that. This input was needed with the team. Basically, you were the missing.
So and what we really needed to do, I mean, Satif, again, are you the gentleman that put all this together, or is it your team behind you putting it all together?
Satish, are you there? I think you're
Yeah.
on mute.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
did you put all this together, or is it your team behind you that put this together?
Yes, together.
Yeah, it's very awesome work. It's so detailed that it's so complex that I feel a little bit bad, to be honest with you, because you put a tremendous amount of effort into this, where we actually need to go back as our team and the Strucksoft team, and we need to isolate a little bit more of the support systems. The framing needs to be kind of honed in a little bit from a builder's perspective, right? And then I keep repeating myself, you need to have all the appliances that we're going to pick and then go crazy with what you're doing here. Now, also, I see the way you're running that drain line. How much fall is in that pipe, the main line where you're dropping back down to the first floor? Did you have enough room in there to get that fall?
This one, this pink
Yeah.
line,
Yep.
because there is a riser.
Okay, so then you're falling down there. Got it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Now can you zoom out to the whole upstairs deck and everything too, please? Okay, perfect. Now spin around and where is your vents running from the double bathrooms? How are you venting that? Is it through the deck? That's what I was looking at.
Actually,
Basically, the bathrooms in the hallway. Where are you venting that to?
one minute.
Yeah, see, that's the heart right there. You see that box there, Scott, which I said modular?
Yep.
All the connections are going there, basically.
Yep. Okay, your track. So is
This
that vent, do you know off the top?
this is the
I,
vent.
yes, I feel like that might not be enough per code. It might need to be a larger vent, but I can kind of do a research on that. Do you feel comfortable that that's enough venting? That's a 2-inch vent?
Yeah, that's 2-inch.
Okay. Do you know how many restrooms can be on a 2-inch vent, or how many appliances off the top of your head? I don't.
I think total in ground level 1 is 2 restroom, and
And
level
then
1
kitchen, we got the kitchen, and
kitchen.
then we
Yeah.
have the upstairs bathroom. And
Yes.
then we also have a future by the stairs there. We have I think a sink area right there that's going to have another vent. I'll check on the code. That might need to be a 3-inch pipe coming up. I'm not positive.
But is that the right place placed for the vent, Scott?
Well, that's the only really place that he could really pop it in there because of the deck. You don't want a vent coming up through your deck down below.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's picked a good spot for it. Now, can you zoom out for a second? And I know we're supposed to be talking about MEP, but can you pull it up just a little bit more so I can see the roof in there?
Please note that the structural and the architectural ceiling drawing is not matching.
Correct, and that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
show.
Right now, I'm
Sanjay.
following the architectural ceiling layout.
And it's I believe is it the structural one that's lower?
No. Architecture is lower.
Okay, so I really feel that we need to bring that up a little bit more, or we need to look at that. And then there's an element too where this roof line comes together, where that first roof flows into that wall. Sanjay,
Yep.
there's no structural supporting in that area. So that roof is going to be left the way they have the joists running. That roof will be left. It's not correct, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's something that we can make amendments, and we can go to RS to RS and
Yep.
have them sign off. But this kind of way of methodology of interaction is so paramount to the journey that we're embarking on, Scott. In absence of this kind of a conversation and this technology, this team, what we are envisioning would not just be possible.
So now let's talk electrical for a second. Oh, that's awesome. That's a nice view right there. So on that view, that schematic view that you just showed me, plumbers are used to, that schematic view, plumbers are used to seeing that just like that on a snapshot here in the States. And I'm sure everywhere in the world. But it's super critical that we have a parts list, that we figure out a parts list with this. I feel like we might have too many vents though. And I'll look at the code and we'll get that figured out. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, these blue lines, all the vents.
Yeah. But I was going to say something about electrical. Oh, if we go to electrical, can you show me what the circuits look like in the breaker panel? Are we at that level of detail?
Yeah.
Is that the modular at the back that is there, the breaker panel? There you go. Yeah.
All right. Can you go inside that breaker panel and show me all the breakers and all that and the wiring in that? Or
No.
Okay. So that's something that we want to incorporate, how we're going to load balance our breaker panels.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you're familiar with, Satish?
No, that detailed drawing we are not preparing.
Okay. That's something, Sanjay, that we definitely want to do, and that'll kind of work with the electricians, but you definitely want to do that. I know that he's only doing the conduiting stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is the team that's would be doing that.
Yeah, this is the team we could do. I think if you provide enough instructions, the team can do magical things, basically.
Because what's starting to happen is all the breakers that we want to see the panel, what it's going to look like inside, and we want to have a wiring diagram that shows basically almost like a MEP drawing of this circuit goes to all these circuits in the house, and then
Yeah.
this is what the panel looks like, and we load balance the panels.
Yes, Scott.
And-
Actually, the circuiting is not in our scope.
Yeah,
Solid
we,
founded
now
model.
is that something that you can do?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that's real important, Sanjay, the circuiting of all that and the sub panels identified and wired out and load balanced, and same with the power main wired out and load balanced too.
yeah.
Now, what that's happening, what that does is you're going to see when the inspectors, they're going to make us do that anyways, but then we can print out sticker sets that say, this is the living room, this is this, this is this. And we also want to do this with the water, hot and cold water too, as well, because you're going to be doing a manifold setup, I would imagine. And you want to have all that stuff pre-labeled ahead of time.
Yeah. But are you seeing, Scott, of how beautiful and joyful this is going to be with this amount of detail and us taking a lot of control within the factory, basically?
It's really, really incredible. This will definitely wrap our minds around it. Everything that Satish did will definitely wrap and help us understand this design a lot better. But unfortunately, I don't know how long it takes to clean up everything. We will actually need to provide him with the right stuff, and he'll have to take another stab at everything. And then, does that make sense? Just to get it
100%. So the reason why I bought Satish, he's showing us Dark Knight, but what I wanted us as a team to already recognize that whatever you're drawing for Simmer, you are already now having the mindset to give him that kind of Revit file where he draws everything to the T, given what you're seeing now, Satish's capability and Simmer's project, basically. So we go back to
Now-
like just one superstructure pod for Simmer. We nail it exactly the tools that Satish has. So that way it's bingo. There's not a whole lot of redrawing based on your inputs, basically.
Right. No, and this is kind of like a super complex view. Like when I first looked at it, I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I'm starting to understand that, okay, this isn't as detailed as I thought, but it's incredibly detailed, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like different levels of detail. And I just assumed when I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is really incredible. And then we need to have the products that we're planning on using that's certified. And these kind of views are incredible.
Yeah. And
how much is something?
Sorry, go ahead.
How much a square foot is something like this cost?
Scott,
Just
we
out of
could
curiosity.
discuss that. I mean, I'll talk to you offline about it. He's more
Okay.
he's representing a very large company, so he's more on the technical side. But certainly,
Got
I'll
it.
address that question. But Satish, can you show Scott like the 3D the printed views where you've got the abbreviation, you've got a 3D view that somebody on the field can look at that PDF and work on it? Can you show Scott that, please? That view, the
Yeah.
PDF.
Okay.
Yeah. See this one? So for every mod, Scott, like he's outlined that red one, and you're seeing the 3D view. So whatever you need, and
And
you've got all the abbreviations and stuff like that.
I prepared all the sections, everything I prepared, and the 3D views also.
So all this is incredible. But with my experience, like, can you zoom in on that one right there that you're on?
This is the section
Yep.
left.
All this is so incredible. This is great for building departments. This is great for everybody. But for the most part, I would love to see this in the plans. So don't get me wrong. For the most part, we don't need to be this detailed. So it's almost like you have this sheet, and then you have a dumbed down version of this sheet that shows where your penetrations come through the floor. You got your elevations of all your outlets, you know what I mean? And the call outs to the fixtures that we're using, the call outs to the toilets. You got like a WC1, should see somewhere where WC1 is water closet. It's a Kohler K whatever, you know, brand name. So all that should be tied to a list somewhere that we can easily grab that data and order parts from.
So what
And
you just
actually have-
described, Scott, I think you and me can kind of pencil it exactly what that template should look like. And then we hand it over to Satish, and then he extracts that data and then puts it as a template so that one is, like you said, to your point, dumb it down to the guys that are in the manufacturing facility, and another one is for a code, basically. So two different views. I think that's completely doable, right, Satish, if he gave you that approach?
Yeah, because this is an incredible view. You got it all detailed. This is really great. You know what I mean? There's some things that I see on there that maybe we have a dumbed down version of heights, you know, call out on heights and call out on horizontal placements and all that kind of stuff. And this is just, these 3D views just give the person who's building it kind of the idea of, okay, this is what it needs to look like. But I would like to see on that plumbing tree almost just the plumbing tree itself and some kind of angles that show, hey, you know, like this T needs to roll up. Like when we're looking at a Y, it needs to roll at a certain angle. We need to show that somehow. You know what I mean? Or they'll just put it flat. You know what I mean? Everything's not 90 degrees, especially when it comes to plumbing. Everything has little angles and all that kind of stuff. But you're there. You have everything there. I think it's just defining a couple extra views and putting some dimensioning on it, and it's rock solid.
Yeah. Sounds good.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
But there's a lot that we need to do before these guys take off, Sanjay,
Yep.
and to do something like this.
Yep.
And I'm going to use Simmers. Like when we give the mechanical, for the most part, structural should be at 95% complete. Like no wiggling around with structural.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Unless Santeeth sees that he has a clash.
Yeah.
He needs to see all the appliances that we're using, all the fixtures that we're using, electrical fixtures, and like anything that he's plugging in, he needs to have a spec on it.
Yep.
And we should actually have a spec book. And as they're starting to detail things, instead of saying WC1, it could actually be a number that refers back to the spec book. And then as we start to change the fixtures, we can update specs, you know, accordingly. It'll just take a little bit to get kind of organized. Everything is there. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
No, it's very nice work, a lot of work. So normally we wouldn't do any of this for a house this size.
Yeah.
If we were framing this out in the field, the plumber would automatically know and he would just adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can't build this in a shop without doing this.
Yeah.
So
that was the vision, Scott. The 10 years of running around that I've done, this the year you have it. Imagine all this was done, just standalone, not a whole lot of construction industry, putting this team together, you coming in, what we're about to do here, man.
No, this is good stuff, man. This is really, really good stuff. And I think this is really needed. And even California code is starting to get to this level of doing things. This is all commercial stuff. You know what I mean? But there's no reason that we can't do it.
And it also gives us that flexibility to come in the kit market, DIY kit, when we have this sort of specificity that we're giving to somebody. Any kid should be able to go ahead and put it together, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, like on the plumbing, it's going to be a little bit tricky. You're going to have to supply them like with the kit, that main portion of the tree on isometric view 4, that portion of a tree needs to be already assembled. You know what I mean? And glued together.
Yep.
And where they're just gluing big chunks of it together, like straight runs together.
Yeah. Yeah. And depending if we send them a superstructure, they don't even need to deal with that because that superstructure, the whole box will already be stamped and sealed by Intertech.
Right.
Right. Sounds good, Satish. I know it's late there in India, and I really appreciate this was just a half an hour call. We extended to hour and a half, but thank you so much, Satish. I'll connect with you again and have Scott, like we're doing a second project, and we'll involve you guys as a part of the team. But if you don't mind hopping off, I wanted to have a quick couple of minutes with Scott, then we'll connect back with you basically. And I'll invite you with the structural team, the StruxSoft team, so that moving forward, you're coordinating really closely with the structural team and you guys so that you're not working independently here.
Yeah.
We have
Nice
a
work,
meeting.
Satish. Nice meeting you.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a meeting on Tuesday. I'll send you that invite, Satish, if you can join in there, please.
Okay, Sanjay. Before that, I have one request to you just contact with our business team regarding our previous change order.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
not approved, right?
Yeah, I've already approved it. I already said that we're sending the payment. So I'm working with the business team as you've been CC'd on that. So we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it, Satish.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And we'll meet you on Tuesday then. Thank you so much. If you can hop off, I'll continue with Scott.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.